Hello and welcome to the last of the 2018 hero reviews as we are going through the assault mechs. So let us get started with the Annihilator Mean Baby. We have on this mech 6 energy hardpoints, 2 in each arm, 1 in the head, 1 in the center torso, 4 missiles, 2 in each side torso. Now, it's an Annihilator, it's 100 tons, it has massive armor quirks. This is definitely not an SRM-based design. It's not fast enough for that, as we're barely going to be breaking 50 kph in this thing. But definitely, if you get this, don't take an XL. Oh my god, just change that to a light engine, for God's sake. There are better Annihilators. The Annihilators which have ballistics mainly. The dual heavy Gauss is an extremely good design. Mass AC5, mass 5s and 10s, all that kind of stuff I feel is a little bit better than this. But what we can do with this is mass MRMs. Just pack them in. We have the weight for it, so you can pack in like 4 MERM 30s or something ridiculous and a bunch of like backup medium lasers. It can get a little toasty, but it's fun. It's an okay mech. It's not the best Annihilator, but you can put down a whole bunch of MERMs. And if you want, you can be that guy and you can run LRMs on this thing and piss people off just because they'll be like, oh my god, LRM assault, sort of thing. Which you can just run some LRMs and then some actually good energy weapons and pretty much use the energy weapons for your weaponry, then piss them off. But moving on to the next, we have the Atlas, the Boar's Head. Now this has 6 energy hardpoints, 3 in each arm, and a single ballistic in the right torso, single missile in the left torso. Single missile is okay, but only if you're going to do a large MRM, so an MRM 40 and some energy weapons, and maybe a ballistic of some kind that can go with that. I tend to not like juggling too many sort of different shooting styles, you know what I mean, like different weapon profiles. Like if I have hit scan with lasers, I want to have hit scan on one weapon click, and then if I have a ballistic, I want to have all the ballistic on the other weapon click, so that way I aim right at for the hit scan and then I lead for the other stuff. But if we have 2 different things that I'm leading with at 2 different times, then also we have the hit scan, it just starts getting annoying. You can put on nice big engine, bunch of, say, medium pulse and an AC20 and just push into people and do that. That works. This does come with an XL400. Don't XL on an Atlas because that's wrong. And it has pretty decent, actually pretty good durability quirks in the sense of base structure. Not as good as armor, but it's a bonus. Next up is the awesome, the Pretty Baby, as we had the Annihilator Mean Baby, and now this is the Pretty Baby. This mech was pretty bad in the past. It's gotten better with MRMs and such. Previously, we have, well, of course, it has 3 energy hardpoints, 1 in the right arm, 1 in the head, which is only limited to 1 slot, and then 1 in the left torso. 3 missiles, 2 in the left arm, and 1 in the right torso. Previously, it was pretty bad. There was just awkward combinations of weapons on this, but since MRMs, we can do mass MRMs on this with like 3 medium lasers for backup, and that works pretty well. We've got some decent structure increases, considering this is only an 80 tonner. It's just barely into the assault category, but it's got plus 25 for its CT, plus 18 for its side torsos, and plus 13 for its arms. Pretty good, actually. It's got some missile heat as well, energy heat, missile cooldown, so it does fairly well with a mass MRM design with some laser backup, but you can also, if you want to, of course, do LRMs on this. The Banshee, what is this thing? La Malinche, that's its name. We have 4 energy, 1 in each arm, 1 in the head, which is limited to 1 slot, and 1 in the left torso. We have a ballistic in the left torso and a single energy in the right torso. So again, similar to the Atlas designs, it's primarily a bunch of energy weapons with sort of your choice. What are you going to do? You're going to do a AC-10, because that's what it has here for additional bonuses, additional things for the AC-10 and the large pulse laser. Not really that many durability increases, which kind of sucks. I feel like this mech should have some more durability for the Banshees. It's like the exact same size physically as like an Atlas, yet it doesn't have the durability of the Atlas, which is kind of annoying to me. It's more of a weapons platform, fire support thing. You kind of don't want to brawl with a Banshee, but you can do things such as 3 large pulse lasers and an AC-10. You can do, again, a bunch of energy weapons and a big MRM. That works. It's okay. It's not the best assault mech. I personally just have trouble with Banshees. I always get cored out really fast because I'm just not that good at piloting them. The Battlemaster, the Hellslinger, has 6 energy hardpoints, 1 in each arm, 2 in each side torso, and then 3 missiles all in the left torso. You can do, again, MRM designs with laser backups. You can actually do a little bit of brawl with this because it's a Battlemaster. It's not that heavy. You can get a really big engine on this thing, and you can get close, as it does have enough mobility to do so. So you can do like triple Serm 6 and a bunch of medium lasers and do sort of a mid-range brawl, especially if you're, say, on a defensive style map or a brawling map like Mining Collective or defending in faction play. You can allow the enemy to come to you. Not that much durability though, so it's not that great in the brawl sense. It's still better in the mid-range fire support for its performance. The Cyclops Sleipnir, or however you pronounce that. Excellent mech. Lots of DACA. We have 4 energy hardpoints, 2 in the right arm, 1 in the head, which is limited to 1 slot, and 1 in the left arm. We got 1 missile in the CT, which is limited to 2 slots, which we're going to ignore because it's limited to 2 slots. The main thing about this mech and where it is wonderful is 4 ballistics, 2 in each side torso. These are side torso ballistics. Yes! So that means we can take in nice big quantities of ballistics. Very common things on this is like 4 UAC 5s. We have dual heavy Gauss. Any mech that can fit on heavy Gauss has some pretty good effectiveness. It does have an XL engine, so switch that out for a light as quickly as possible, or if you're doing heavy Gauss, it's going to have to be a standard, but it's already got your double heat sink, so don't worry about that. Not that much durability increases, just a little bit on the CT and a little bit on the torsos, so watch out for that. It's not the tankiest mech, but it does have the ability to put out some pretty good damage, which is nice. The Direwolf, the Ultraviolet, or is that Ultraviolet or Ultraviolence? I can't remember. One of the two. It is the premier DACA whale, as the other Omnipods for this, in this Omnimech, only have 1 ballistic in the arms. This has 2. So you're adding a whole another 2 ballistic to the dire whale, which allows you to do 8 ballistic and do things like 8 Ultra 2s and just spit lead the entire battlefield, and it's amazing sort of thing. It's personally not my personal style. I don't like how slow this is. It is hard capped to an XL300 at 100 tons, so it is slow as an Annihilator. It doesn't have any durability really, so it's as slow as an Annihilator, but it dies way faster than an Annihilator. So if you're playing this, you have to have the DPS and have the ability to use your firepower for your defense. Your defense is the fact that people don't want to look at you because they're going to take damage. Where the Annihilator is like, I can just take damage because I have armor to spare. This is, I can't let you look at me. I have to suppress you with my firepower. That's what you have to do with the dire whale. And I really don't play well that way. So if you can do that, that's great. You can do any build you want because it's a dire whale. You can change out the Omnipods. But if you want to go mass DACA, this is the mech to do it in. The Executioner, the Chibri, or, well, I can't remember how to pronounce it, as pronouncing things wrong is what I do if you've seen my Battletech playthrough. It is a Omnimech. It is the Executioner. it has... I always feel like the 95 tonners are a bit weak, because they're in this weird spot between the kings of the battlefield of the 100 tonners. This has no durability quirks, really. Its right arm has plus 20 armor out of nowhere just because it's a little bigger than the other arm, sort of thing. This feels like it should have a little bit of durability across the mech. It's got its mask, it's got its jump jets that eats into a lot of its tonnage so that it can't take a good payload for a 95 tonner. It's got more of like the payload you would expect in a 70 tonner, 75 tonner sort of thing, which is unfortunate. It's not my favorite mech. It can perform if you have the right build on it, but I personally don't have a build that really works on mine. So I personally don't like it, but maybe you can look out there to see if there's some other people that have more experience with it and better success. The Gargoyle, the Mr. Gargoyles, which is the Kin Wolf, 80 tonner, fast mech, huge fixed XL 400. Really, it's too much of an engine. We got it at 81 kph for an assault that's ridiculously fast. This is an Omni, so you can swap out stuff, but I can't remember. If I'm not mistaken, it brings in the missile hardpoints, and that's what's new to this design. I really haven't used this mech very much. It does have a little bit of durability quirks, little bit of quirks for this mech, because it's not that the best performing clan assault mech. It's okay. It has really too much of its weight put towards that XL400 engine. If I had complete control, I would drop this XL400 to like an XL375 or something like that, and give the mech like 5% or 10% speed quirk to keep its speed, but give it like 5 tons more to play with, and there would be so many more builds that would work on this. Realistically, it's not the best mech. You can do things like the mass small pulse laser builds on it and push people in, and there's videos online of people being like, Gargoyle 1000 damage small pulse. Like, it's ridiculous. But that's in the hands of a really good pilot in the right situation that knows when to push and knows when to move with the flow of the battlefield. If you're just an average pilot, I don't think the Gargoyle is the best for you, so I can't really recommend it. The Highlander, the heavy metal. God, this is an old favorite of mine. This is an old mech. It's got a lot of durability. We got massive plus armor on this thing, so you can take a lot of hits. We've got 2 ballistics in the right arm. Unfortunately, they have a lower arm actuator, so we can't do an AC-20. We can't do dual UAC-5s, which is unfortunate. But we can do a Gauss rifle. We got 2 missiles in the left torso. If you want to, you can do MRMs with this. Or if you really want to, for some strange reason, do LRMs. And then 3 energy in the left arm. Build that I really enjoy in this thing was actually like my favorite build for this mech back when it first came out is like triple large laser or ER large laser in the left arm and a Gauss rifle on the right. It's simple and it works. But you can do things like do more of a brawl design with pulse lasers and MRMs and some sort of like LB10 or something like that. It functions. It's a Highlander. You'd expect it to be able to do the jump in Highlander Burl, but assaults have such bad jumping right now that if you take 1 or 2 jump jets, it's all it is for getting over rocks and like getting over terrain obstacles that are sort of knee height or waist height. You're not really going to be jump sniping like you were in the past with these kind of mechs. It's unfortunate, but it's still a good ground pounder if you want to design it that way. Highlander 2C, the clan version of the Highlander, which the KP, I forget what this, I forget what the name is of this mech, but it allows you to take XL engine where the Highlander heroes have to take a light engine. It's got similar, although not as strong durability quirks as it has the benefit of that XL engine. It doesn't have to worry about the durability as much. It's got a pair of ballistics, 1 in the right arm, 1 in the left torso, 4 missile, 2 in the right torso, 2 in the left arm, single energy in the left arm. kind of ignore that single energy, you can do some pretty good brawl designs on this with 4 Serm 6s, 2 LB20s. If you're playing a defensive style map, or a brawl style map, or a defensive game mode in faction play, that design is really powerful. You can, like, it's the same thing you can do on the Scorch and the Magcat 2C Bravo? I can't remember which one has the Serms and Daka, but it's really good. Otherwise, ATMs function pretty well on this thing, or even sort of a mixed build. I've actually done a pair of Goss, so you can reach out, and Serms. You have close range, and you have the long range. Plus, Goss work at close range, because there's no minimum on them. So that works. Next up is the King Crab, the Kaiju. Sort of a mirrored King Crab, where normal King Crabs would have all their ballistics here in the arm, and they would Daka from there. This one has its Daka up in the right torso at the top with 2 ballistic, and then 3 energy in each arm. Most King Crabs would have the other way around with the ballistic in the arms, and then the energy in the right torso. This also has a pair of missile in the left torso, which if you want, you can strip down the arms, put a pair of Daka, put a pair of Merms in it, great big MRMs, and just do torso-based King Crab, which is actually kind of nice. It gets all of your weapon hardpoints up above your cockpits. There's no, like, hanging down of the arms, which works. Otherwise, you can do heavy Gauss and lasers. You can do all sorts of combinations. It's got a fairly good wide variety of builds that it can pull off. Pretty good durability as well, with massive plus 25 armor to the CT and 17 to the torsos, 10 to the arms. So max out your durability tree, and you can take some good hits with this thing. The Kodiak, the Spirit Bear. We shall have a moment of silence for this thing, because it was very good in the past, but it lost a lot of its mobility with the engine desync. This is a clan battle mech, which best of both worlds, because you got clan stuff and battle mech stuff. We've got 2 energy, 1 in each arm, ballistic in the right torso, and then 4 missile, 3 in the left torso, 1 in the center torso. The meta build for this in the past was a honkin' engine, like a 375 or something along those lines, an LB20 and 4 Serm 6 with Artemis. This thing can take mask, and you would mask in with a big engine and all this short-range firepower, twisting back and forth, so huge twisting speed because you had a big engine. This was before desync. And then you would twist in, whip your torso in front of the guy, blast him with like 70 damage or something like that from all of your splat, and then dance away around a corner. And you could do that in a 100-ton assault mech, and it was glorious. But they took away a lot of that mobility. This doesn't perform like that anymore. It's slow enough now that it needs durability to really bring it back to what it used to be, a brawl-centric design. It does okay. It's just not as good as it used to be. It used to be really good, like top-level mech. But now it's a mid-range. It's just, when you used to have it at the top, having it in the middle just feels like it's at the bottom. You know what I mean? It's not that it's bad, it's just not as good as it used to be. The good old days of the Spirit Bear. It still functions. You can still put things like ATMs on these missile hardpoints and do more of a mid-range fire support, but there's other mechs that can do that better than the Kodiak. The Mad Cat 2C, the Deathstrike, one of the more meta mechs right now. We've got 2 ballistic, 1 in each arm, 6 energy, 1 in each arm, 2 in each side torso. Fill it up with a pair of Gauss rifles and as much energy as you want to cram on it. Boom, you've got a design. Get like an XL350 or a 325, somewhere around there. Put a pair of heavy larges, pair of ER mediums, pair of Gauss rifles, and go to town and be one of the strongest mechs on the field right now. Absolutely amazing at mid to long range trading. Not that good at short range unless you want to take your energy weapons and make them more like a medium pulse lasers. but still, everything is nice and high on this mech. The cockpit is nice and high. You don't have to show much of the mech in order to get shots off. It's extremely powerful right now. And if you have the money for it, you can't really go wrong with the Deathstrike right now. Marauder 2C Scorch Clan Battle Mech. Oh man, this thing can brawl. We got 2 ballistic, 1 on each arm, 2 energy, 1 on each arm, and then 4 missile, 2 in each side torso. The standard build for this is a pair of LB20s with 4 Artemis 6s in the side torsos and like an XL325 or something along those lines. It's got okay mobility, but you want to use the terrain, allow yourself to get close, but once you do, you eviscerate people with all that firepower. It's pretty nice. You can also do stuff like dual Gauss and dual energy weapons in the arms. It used to be PPC, dual Gauss, dual PEEP, but that is not as popular anymore because they're now heatsink linked. Also, this thing works amazingly well with ATMs in these side torsos, as ATMs are quite strong, if you're using them correctly, of course. So you can mass ATMs there, and if you really want to piss people off, you can LRM Scorch, because you can. But yeah, it's good. It's a good brawler. Good all-around Marauder 2C. Next up is the Mahler. It's like the Kaiju in the sense that it's sort of a mirrored Mahler. Normally you would have the ballistics in the side torsos and the energy in the arm, but this is the other way around. We got 2 ballistic, 1 in each arm, 4 energy, 2 in each side torso, and 4 missile, 2 in each side torso. You can do stuff in this which is like a refinement from the other Mahlers where you can do MRM designs better. Because now you can down armor the arms and do MRMs and energy in the side torsos without having to worry about having the energy in the arms. Which means that the other Mahlers, it's a little bit of an improvement compared to that. Otherwise, yeah, you can do any sort of Mahler design because it's pretty much the same hard points as the other Mahlers, just in different locations. So if you like your other Mahlers and you want to do their same designs on this mech with a little bit better MRM design, try out the Mahler hero, whatever this is called. The Knockout, there it is. The Night Star, the Wolf Phoenix. 4 energy hard points, 2 in each arm, 4 missiles, 2 in each side torsos. This is, I feel, pretty much relegates itself to being an MRM design. I don't really know if there's another functional design for this mech. You could do 4 large energy weapons and some backup SRMs or backup streaks, but that's kind of weird. I still feel like it's definitely like 4 medium lasers and a bunch of MRMs. That's this design. Out of the Night Stars, I don't really have much playtime in Night Stars, but the Wolf Phoenix performs pretty good. It realistically could use a little bit of durability that's not structure. I feel like if this was armor bonus, oh, that'd be so much better. If that was armor bonus and there was a little bit for the arms, this mech would perform better. Because structure can get crit and your weapons will get destroyed before you die. So when your weapons are destroyed and you're not dead yet, you might as well be dead. Because who cares? Your weapons are gone, so you're not a threat anymore. So structure isn't that good. If that was armor and they had a little bit of bonus for the arms, that'd be pretty awesome. And then it would be a good mid-range MRM design. And of course, as always, you can put LRMs if you want to piss people off. Stalker, the Misery. Actually, a pretty good heavy Gauss mech. Do like a heavy Gauss on the left torso and a bunch of medium lasers or your meds or however you want to run it. Standard 300 engine and call it good. It's a pretty decent mech. It's not that great for durability because it's got no durability quirks for an 85 tonner for the IS side, but the hitboxes are pretty good. Where if you're looking at a guy head on, the hitboxes are very vertical and it's pretty easy just to wiggle back and forth and spread damage. But as soon as you're side on to a guy, everything is side torso. Because that side torso comes forward a bunch. So you have to watch out for that, as you can get your side torso eviscerated doing that. So watch out for that. Otherwise, it is a mid-range fire support. You've got 5 energy, 2 in each arm, 1 in the CT, a single missile in the right torso, which I would ignore unless you're going to go for a large MRM design, and then a single ballistic in the left torso, which is great as like an AC-20 or a heavy Gauss or something along those lines. Supernova, the boiler. Why do I keep want to call it broiler? I don't know. Boiler. Pair ballistic, 1 in each arm, 3 energy in the right torso, and 3 missile in the left torso. It's a clan battle mech at 90 tons. You can do a similar kind of brawl build on this if you want. 3 Artemis 6s and 2 LB20s. You can have those LB20s be with lower arm actuators. You can move them around. That works. You can also do a pair of Gauss rifles and a bunch of energy weapons in the right torso, so you can do more of a mid-range to long-range designs. You can do ATMs in the side torso if you wish. So there's some build flexibility here. It's got jump jets if you want to take those, but it's only like 1 or 2 jump jets, so you can't really get off the ground that far. But it's a decent little mech. If you like supernovas and you want to do that kind of thing, it works. Victor Dragonslayer, 3 energy hard points, 2 in the right torso, 1 in the left arm, 2 ballistic in the right torso. Sadly has a lower arm actuator. I think that would make this mech a lot better if it didn't have a lower arm actuator. So you currently can't take AC-20 or can't take dual UAC 5s. If you could, it would improve this mech a lot. And then 2 missiles in the left torso. You can do a pair of big MRMs with the 3 energy hardpoints to back it up. You can do the classic designs of a pair of AC-5s in the right arm, a pair of PPCs in the right torso, jump jets as much as you can in order to get some mobility, a big engine, and do sort of a jumping trading Victor. That works. It has fallen out of favor. It used to be the absolute best guy on the battlefield, but it does have some armor quirks to make up for it, with 23 in the CT, so mid to high level of armor for this mech. Get your survivability tree on it, and you can tank a fair amount with it. It's pretty good. The Warhawk, and I'm not even going to pronounce this, the Nanook. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I did, that's amazing. What this brings, which is cool, I think it's the 3 energy left arm and the two ballistic right arm. I think those are unique, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong with that. But the nice thing about this right arm is it has minus 20% UAC jam chance. I think you need to capitalize on this in order to make this mech work. I personally just ignore the missiles. Of course, this is an Omni, so if you have other Warhawks, you can put on the different Omnipods and play around with that and do whatever build you want on it. But the build that I like to run on mine is taking this minus 20% UAC jam chance, which is connected to the right arm, putting on the left arm that has a ballistic and an energy, doing 3 UAC 5s and a PPC. And I find that works quite well. Mid-range fire support sort of mech, which works for this thing. The Warhawk is never really like a front line brawler, so having that minus 20% UAC jam chance is quite nice with the triple UAC 5s, and then you have the PPC to back it up in case you all jam up. It's quite nice. And then the last mech in our reviews, we have the Zeus, the Sokokomish. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just going to give up. So, moderate durability increases across the mech with plus 15, plus 17, and so we can take mask, which means we can go fast if we want to. 2 missile in the right arm and 2 in the left torso. 2 energy, 1 in the center torso, 1 in the left torso, and 1 ballistic in the left arm. I feel this thing is best designed for brawl because it's a Zeus. You can take a pretty big it's a Zeus, so it's only 80 tons. You can take a pretty big engine, so you can go pretty fast. And you've got a bunch of missile hardpoints. You can do like 4 SRM 6 and energy weapons, or 4 SRM 6 and a ballistic, depending on how big you want to have your engine, depending on how much hard space, like a pod space you have left over, and then you just push in and just get them. You have minus 10% heat on this thing as well. So if you combine that with your 10.5% you can get from the firepower tree, you can get a total minus 20.5% heat on all of your weapons. And you can just push in with a bunch of CERM 6s and an LB10 or whatever weapons you want to take on it, with your mask going top speed and you're, cooking 80, 85 kilometers an hour in an assault, and staying up with your heavies and your mediums as they push the front line. Push them in. It's pretty decent. I personally haven't put enough hours into it in order to say exactly how well it works, but an MRM design or an SRM design with some nice flanking potential should work quite well with this mech. And with that, that is it for all of the heroes that are currently in the game as of basically the beginning of July 2018. I will do this again maybe at Christmas, maybe do this twice a year. Of course, for these past 4 videos, these were all my opinion. Please play these mechs as you wish. You don't have to take my word as gospel. It's just I played too much, and maybe I can rub some of that information off on you guys so you can be successful. But that is going to be it for this video and this review series. Thanks for watching, and good hunting.